How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And this is our review of Juror number 2. This is going to be spoiler-free.
Sort of. I'll preface it by saying this. We're going to spoil things that are in the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer's kind of spoilery. So if you've seen the trailer, we're not going to talk about anything that's not in that.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the trailer...
And you don't want to see the trailer, don't want to have anything more than that spoiled.
Yeah.
At that point, I feel like you're in on the movie. Just go see it.
Yeah, just go see it. Just go see it.
That out of the way. Juror number 2, written, directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Nicholas Hoult and other people.
After a year of our favorite directors, legacy directors giving us some shite with Coppola, we won't mention.
Hey, can we swear on this podcast?
Can we?
Kidding.
Listen, okay, they've given us some shitty movies. Let's just say that. I thought this was really good. I'm honestly so high on it that I'm curious your gripes.
I did enjoy it. I want to preface it by saying this. And also, I'm so happy that we actually got to see it, because for a while it was looking like we weren't.
It got distribution, but had a release of what?
50
LA?
theaters.
Oh my god.
It was 50 screens altogether.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was bad. But no, so with all that said, I thought the movie was really interesting.
Do you want to give a brief what it's about
for
people that didn't see the trailer?
Yeah, for people that did or didn't. Nicholas Hoult plays a man who's called into jury duty. Mm-hmm. And as the case goes on, he realizes that he may have more of a personal involvement in it than he thought. And so a lot of the movie is his internal struggle as he weighs his options while a man's life is on the line.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie portrays that as best as you possibly could, right?
Yeah, I really think that my favorite part of this movie was Nicholas Hoult, because I felt like he portrayed that agony, that push and pull. You can really through all of the facial cues just sense how much his conscience is weighing on him.
Yeah. I also think it's very easy to put yourself in his shoes for every situation, and I don't think he makes any irrational.
No, there's a point in the movie where he goes to see someone because he thinks he needs some help, and it's I was just yeah, that's exactly what I would have done as well. This is such a rational thing to do, and that's really refreshing from a movie as well.
Yeah, we had a debate whether or not this is a thought-provoking film, and I think this is one of the most thought-provoking movies you'll see all year. I'm still thinking about it, and I feel like I'm going to continue to think about I don't really want to give what the message of the movie is, but this movie definitely leaves you with a certain question on your mind.
The movie asks some questions, and I feel like it doesn't really do a good job of ever even pretending like it wants to answer them, which to me is really,
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to think that kind of thing is really lazy. A 5-year-old's going to ask questions, but doing it in such a way where you can kind of present maybe a couple answers is the sign of intelligent filmmaking. But that's neither here nor there. Now we're getting into a different topic.
I agree with what you're saying. And as someone who hates when directors are very ambiguous, I think this did... if you want to call this ambiguous, did that in the best way possible. And it also, it in a way where it's thought-provoking and not just they didn't know where they wanted to go with it. You know what I mean? How do I feel about Clint Eastwood as a director right now?
This kind of goes into one of my gripes.
Okay.
With the movie. Not so much his directing, but the writing. So outside of Nicholas Hoult's character, and I think maybe the district attorney, I think a large number of the jury members that are in the room with Nicholas Hoult are such stereotypes. It's such stereotypes, and not only are they stereotypes, they're the exact stereotypes that you think Clint Eastwood would think of.
100%. You can definitely tell that
the first line of dialogue, you're just oh, okay, this is this character, got it.
You think Clint Eastwood went to jury duty one day and was like, "There's a movie here. I just see it."
It's not even that characters are stereotypes. I also think that the specific the characters that come down on various sides of guilty or not guilty are exactly who Clint Eastwood would the heroic characters are all the characters that Clint Eastwood would find heroic, and the stubborn, stuck in their ways characters are all the ones that Clint Eastwood would find.
Yeah, and the smart bookie types are cast exactly how you would think. It's very typecast, this movie.
The Asian girl that's in med school that can't speak full English.
Yeah, exactly.
So that to me for a movie that took so much care with Nicholas Holt's character and like was willing to go like was willing to have really good like character development in some places, the laziness from so many characters just stuck out so much to me.
Even so much as to like bring up the conversation of like subtle racism, but not really address like this is clearly what Clint Eastwood thinks people think racism is, but it's not, or inequalities, but it's not really. Anyway, those things aren't. I see them and I hear you on that, but I just don't think they're a big deal in the grand like scheme of this movie.
And that's why like I'm not griping with I'm not ignoring like Clint Eastwood's personal beliefs on these things. To me, my gripe is more the fact that they're
underdeveloped.
They're underdeveloped and they are such stereotypes, and less about like which stereotypes got picked.
I think they fit their role. I'll say who's outside of that stereotype is J.K. Simmons.
No, I don't think so.
And see, I disagree. He's playing. I mean, you know his character as soon as he has a couple lines of dialogue. You know who he's about and all he's about. Sure, but I don't think he's necessarily a stereotype. Maybe it's because you know J.K. Simmons, but like the kind of characters he would play. Anyway, I
don't think I could rebut that without spoiling it. Yeah, so I won't. But I'll tell you later.
Yeah, I know. But I think he was great, and I think he was underused in the movie, and that was a huge. When he's not in it, you kind of feel that like the movie's not humming on all levels.
I think this kind of goes to another one of my gripes is that because Nicholas Holt's character has a lot of the answers.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of the answers, like through the film, he's the character that has the most knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that like a murder trial usually goes in like movies and TV is like we as audience are kind of like figuring it out like as the facts are presented or like as the jury is like going back and forth, like we're also kind of going back and forth, but we never get any of that because we already know the answers because we have Nicholas Holt's perspective. So like through large parts of this movie, like so
it's
there's
a vague enough perspective though, like
yeah, but I think that there are like large sections of this movie, specifically scenes that J.K. Simmons is not in, where the movie's almost like trying to lead you down the path of a whodunit, only we don't actually care because we know like more answers than the rest of the movie does at that point.
You're right, but also the movie could have ended in a completely different way, and it wouldn't have been out of place. I
think it's more like the pacing and like what's driving a large section of like the second act. I'll say
I will say
the middle of the movie.
Going with the pacing, I did think this movie was well paced, but the sense of time felt all over the place. I had no idea how much time was passing between scene to scene, or even inside of a scene, how much time was passing. It felt like hours had gone by, but
if you want to be really generous, you can say like, oh, the characters are like, you know, they have no idea how much time has passed or whatnot.
Right.
But that's just giving the movie all the benefit of the doubt.
It's definitely giving benefit of the doubt. If I hear Clint Eastwood say prior to the movie's release that was something he wanted to do, then maybe I'll be like, okay, sure. But like it's a gripe. Is it a big gripe? Is it gonna knock this down a point or two? I don't think so. That being said, are you ready to score this, or do you feel like you got more to say?
Yeah, I can score it.
What do you think?
It's a 7. I think it's solid. I think again, there's a lot of really really high points in this. I thought Nicholas Hoult did a fantastic job.
Great.
It's the best movie directed by someone over 75 that I've seen this year. So you know,
that I've seen this year. Put that on the poster.
So props to Clint Eastwood for that. There's parts of it that are really engaging. There's a scene right at the end where two characters are having a conversation that's
on the bench.
Really, really dynamic and really engaging. And I thought probably one of my favorite scenes, in a movie this year.
Yeah, I'll say that one of my favorite scenes of the year for sure.
Yeah, but there's pacing issues. There's characters being underwritten, and I thought that the thing that made the movie kind of interesting is also one of the things that the movie didn't quite know how to overcome. So for those reasons, it's a 7.
Again, we can't really get into debating it without spoiling, but we also didn't talk about Toni Collette. I thought Toni Collette was incredible in this. I thought honestly she was probably better than Nicholas Hoult was in this, or at least on par with.
She plays the district attorney, so she's a
great
role. Yeah. No, she did a great job.
I don't know who played the opposing attorney, but he was good too. I really love this movie. I don't know if it's because we've seen like a string of 8s in a row, and then like we just saw a couple movies that we really enjoyed. But this really it really sung to me. Like I enjoyed the mystery of it all. The like, you could say there's not much of a whodunit, but at the end of the day, if the verdict would have gone differently, the verdict very much could have gone differently, and it would have been an acceptable ending because anyway, without getting into it,
Dangerously close.
Yeah, dangerously close. I thought this movie was really good, and I'm excited for more people. I hope more people go see it because I want to talk to people about this movie. This is a movie that I feel like we could definitely talk about for hours after this.
This feels like the kind of movie that would play really well on streaming, on cable, not on streaming. Like this feels like a cable movie.
People are definitely gonna wait for this to go to streaming.
Yeah, HBO Max like in December. So
I guess see it then if you have to wait. But
See it when you can.
I thought this was really good.
All right. What are we doing next week? Do you know?
We got a movie review or something, right?
We'll figure it out. There's a lot of movies coming out. We'll see you guys.